It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And good afternoon and welcome to another season of Tiger Talk. This is indeed Gerard Wellbrock. So good to have you with us here today as we kick off another sports season at Fort Hays State University. Football kicks off the campaign tomorrow night against Angelo State. We'll talk more about that as we go along. It's a pleasure to be with Tiger Club again this year. We'll broadcast all of our shows in conjunction with the Tiger Club gatherings every Wednesday. We're inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, and we encourage you to join Tiger Club. Obviously, your membership dues go toward scholarships for Fort Hays State student athletes, but you can come to the regular meetings on Wednesday. You can watch the program live and in person and be a part of the show. We'll take some questions from the audience members. You can write them down, of course, as we've done in years past. You can hop online, hop on the Fort Hays State Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. You click on fans. You'll see that drop down, ask the coach, send in your question, and if you use it, you got a chance to win a T-shirt from Fort Hays State Athletics. So certainly encourage you to do that. We've had a few emailed questions already, and we'll get to those as we move along. So, and for our radio audience, we're on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 today because of the Royals conflict on KAYS, but throughout most of the year, we'll be on 1494.3 FM KAYS for the show. And, of course, if you miss any part of it, you can check out the Defend the Fort podcast. We'll have a replay of the program. And kind of like last year, we'll rotate some coaches. We're going to talk with Tyson John, women's soccer coach, today. We'll have the men's coach on. We'll talk some cross country as we go along. Jessica Wood-Atkins, Fort Hays State volleyball, will be a regular, and head coach Chris Brown for football will be a regular each and every show during their seasons as well. So we're excited to be here. We're excited to get the season underway. We'll talk more about the football matchup with Angelo State a little bit later on in the program. Do need to remind you, the Kansas Department of Transportation and the Drive to Zero Coalition invite you to join Fans with a Plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk some women's soccer. Tyson John, the head women's coach of Fort Hays State, joins us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles into the 10-5, touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hays High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the three, and fake it home as it swirls.
Launches a three, bang, nothing but net.
It's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get down. Hays High wins in overtime.
And welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live at the Robins Center inside the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club. Glad to have you with us for our first program here of the 2024-2025 school year and sports season. And we're going to start off talking a little women's soccer. Tyson John, head coach of the Tigers, joining us. Good to be back. Good to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. Back at it. It's been hot. One day we're dodging the wet bulb, and the next day we're dodging lightning. So it's definitely made it interesting. But yeah, we've been excited to get back to work, and first game next Thursday. So
yeah, going to be here quick. Let's talk about your team. You had a successful season a year ago, picked third in the conference preseason poll, and kind of slotted where you finished a year ago. You got a lot of new faces on the program. You've got some veterans back. Just tell us about your squad a little bit and leading into this season.
Yeah, I mean, 11 seniors is a lot, so, pretty high expectations for that. And that, for the past 2 years that I've been here is that we've really elevated where we are and what we want to do and our ambition to, go and chase a championship. 13 new players, 8 are transfers, 5 freshmen. Freshmen have done really well. Transfers have done well also. We've played 3 exhibition games thus far. Haven't conceded a goal. I think between 3 of the games. One of the games we drew 0-0. We were 3 days in, so didn't have a whole lot of expectations that we were going to meld that quickly. Played against a club team that had made it to nationals this year, and we've actually already committed 2 to 3, hopefully 3 players. They'll get that verbal commitment here soon. For 2025, and then the other 2, we played Barton, who's ranked nationally in JCAA, 2-0 win there, and then Butler, who drew with Seminole State in a real match on the previous Wednesday. They're number 3 in the country, and so we got a 4-0 win there. So we're finding the back of the net, which is good. We've hit 7 crossbars in 3 games, so there could be more goals there to come. I don't think anybody wants to take us on in a crossbar challenge because we seem to be pretty good at that.
Well, and I mean, obviously defense. I mean, your team really hung its hat on that. I mean, you look last season, you guys were so good, and I know the offense at times was challenging. Have you seen? I mean, it sounds like the defense is going to, pick up right where it left off. But that offensive side of things, have you noticed a change and areas to get a little bit better in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, we've added, adding new personnel always helps. And we're returning Allison, who, was tied for our leading goal scorer. I think Monty's going to put more goals on the table. We have a freshman in Taylor Hill from Colorado who scored a really nice goal against Butler, and then also a redshirt sophomore from Texas, and Layla Cook scored a really nice goal the other night. And so neither one of those players were available to us last year, and so I think that's going to change a lot. Defensively, we've already had one setback. We had one of our starting back 4 tear her ACL in our second match, and so we just figured out that that's a real thing, and she's going to be done for the year. But we brought in that 6-foot goalkeeper that we talked about last spring, and she is something. She is long, and she makes you feel really comfortable that when the ball's in the air that she's going to come out and get it. So not a lot of players taller than her, especially when her arms are in the air. So, yeah, for us, that's been really good. Added, transfers at the center back position and a Division I transfer that's doing really well outside back at the moment. So, yeah, I think that, it's right there in front of us. The biggest thing is going to be about staying healthy.
You look at football, that usually an incoming freshman, unless they're really talented, they redshirt. Does that happen in soccer that much with some of the younger gals on the squad, or you throw right them in there? It's
possible. It's, for us, I've never, there's some coaches that in soccer they go, look, you're going to wait, and, I've told these other players that they're going to wait, and I go, whoever's going to help us win today, tomorrow, and the next day. I don't care if you're a freshman. I don't care if you're a fifth-year senior. For me, it's just about the winning and how, what you bring to the team and what you bring to our program.
I'll ask you about Montserrat Diaz. Great honor for her, named to the Costa Rica U20 World Cup team. I mean, that's some big-time stuff.
Yeah, I mean, she's, I think, probably the 7th Costa Rican national team player that I've had in my career. I think there's only been 3 other ones that have played college in the United States. 2 of them played at VCU, and 1 of them played at Florida State and won a national championship. So I've always had a pretty good relationship with them since I was young in my career. I played with some Costa Rican national team players back in the day. And so, yeah, it's a great honor for her. And she works really hard, and they got a really tough group. So, we'll be rooting for her to be successful, but we'll also be excited to get her back and get her, going here back with our new group.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you how that affects everything, because obviously she's going to have to miss some time.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I want to sign that level of player. I want that type of student athlete, and so I don't even blink an eye, when that time comes. I think the only time that I would ever be a bit more reserved is if she was coming in as a freshman.
Right.
And I would say, probably not the time to be late to classes and late to meld with the team, but she's in her 3rd season, and, that's a great honor to represent your country. And so it's a responsibility that I think we have as a program to be able to allow her and assist her in doing so.
That's a cool honor for her. It'll be fun to follow her, and hope she has a great experience and run with those guys. We mentioned at the outset, you're picked third in the MIAA preseason, pretty much slotted as it finished last year. How do you see the conference race? Obviously, the teams ahead of you are very good. It's always competitive. How do you? I know it's tough early in the year, but I mean, it seems like every year it's as competitive as hell get out.
Preseason polls, nobody knows who's brought in what, and there's been a lot of coaching changes, so a lot of players, a lot of team styles are going to change. For us, we've always said, I've said from the day one that we need to be a top 4 program. We've gone forward and then third. We barely lost to Washburn last year, who ends up in the national championship. So I think it's just about us being able to find consistency early and, like I said, staying healthy. But for me, that's at being put at third. We could be, in this conference, you could be, in 2022, Washburn finished 6th, and then in 2023 they finished first. And so it's the toughest conference in the country, hands down. So we look at it and we go, finish as high as we can finish. Obviously chasing a championship, but we'd like to bring home some silverware.
Very good. Let's talk about the schedule a little bit. You mentioned it. Thursday, September 5th, you'll start at home, CSU Pueblo, then that next Monday, the 9th, Rockhurst. Then you go on the road for quite a bit.
Yeah, we do.
Just maybe a quick overview of the schedule, the non-conference slate. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, so I mean, for us to chase a championship in the MIAA, I felt that I needed to kind of up our non-conference schedule. I feel like it's the toughest non-conference schedule that I've had since we've been here. Pueblo's always been a good team, historically been a good team, and they have a brand new coach. I didn't know anything about them before, and I definitely don't know anything about them now. So that's going to be a very interesting one. Rockhurst is always good. They went undefeated in 22 in the GLVC, and so we need to play. Augustana's usually ranked in the top 25. Southwest Minnesota went from a 2-win team to a 7-win team last year. So we're trying to play as many teams. SWAZU made the national tournament in 2022, and then we'll finish out our non-con with Northwest Oklahoma. But it'll be the toughest, and we need to play those tough opponents to be able to get those regional rankings as high as we can. All
right, sounds good. Well, you got another week or so to go to get ready for that. CSU Pueblo at home, 7 o'clock, September 5th, cranks up the 2024 season here in the 2024-25 school year. Tyson, as always, appreciated. Good to have you back in the fold this year. Looking forward to some great things out there on the pitch.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There you go, Tyson John, the head women's soccer coach at Fort Hays State University. Mark on your calendar, September 5th at home against CSU Pueblo. Tiger Talk today brought to you by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. We'll talk some volleyball when we come back. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live at the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club. Again, a great group. Join it. Your dues go toward scholarships. You come out on Wednesdays and join the show live. And again, we encourage anyone to send us a question. You can email your question. Go to the FHSU Athletics website, click on fans. You'll get the drop-down menu. There on the very bottom, you will see Ask the Coach and a chance to win a T-shirt from Fort Hays State University Athletics. We're talking some volleyball now with Jessica Wood-Atkins, head Fort Hays State volleyball coach. But before we do that, we need to squeeze in 10 seconds for station identification on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Celebrate a Tiger win with beers, wines, and spirits from Kaiser Liquor on East 27th and North Hall in Hays. Tiger Radio, Mix 103.3, KJLS, Hays.
All right, back with volleyball coach Jessica Wood-Atkins. Tigers gearing up to start their new season. It's obviously, Coach, been a bit of a challenge, but before we get into that, thanks for joining us. I'm sure like everybody else, you're excited to start a new campaign.
I am. It's good to be here. Got a new crew. They're all coming in pretty motivated and healthy, so that's a good start.
Well, obviously, for folks during basketball season, probably noticed some work going on at the Gross Memorial Coliseum. New air conditioning going in, which will be awesome. But unfortunately, it's not quite done yet, and you've had to deal with that a lot, kind of displaced a little bit here in the early going of the season.
Yeah, we're nomads right now. But, it's actually had its perks because we have a heavy travel season coming up. And so I think we've kind of taken it for what it's worth and said, we have to be ready to play no matter what gym we're in. It's just another gym. And so I think it's gone a long way towards helping the girls be in the right frame of mind. And obviously, we're keeping the end in mind. We're excited about the renovations. And, anytime you go through that process, there's going to be some work to be done. But it's been good. Hayes Middle School has been very gracious in working with us. And they've allowed us to use a lot of their equipment, which has been good. So we don't have to haul 2 truckloads of stuff over there. They have air conditioning. They've been great. We've worked with Hayes High, and they've all been very good about supporting us and helping us.
Well, that's good to hear. And in some weird way, I mean, it might bring the team together. I mean, it's different than the normal routine, and sometimes that can have a very positive effect.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, any trial you have is you either look at it as an obstacle or an opportunity. And that's where your mental strength is built, and if you can see the opportunity in it, you only get stronger from it. And so it's been good for us.
Let's talk about your team a little bit. You have some veteran faces back, but you've got, 9 newcomers as well. So, I mean, it's a blend of returners, but a lot of new talent out there.
Yes. We've returned some pretty big players for us. In Gracie Raines was one of our top point scorers last year on the outside. Ashlyn Reeves was making some waves as a freshman. And then Kaya Stuckey is back as well in the setting position. And we've got Claire Olson, who actually battled some injury. We weren't sure we were going to have her this fall, but things are looking up. Good. And so we're hoping that Claire is back with us this fall. But yeah, we're going to be relying on some newcomers in some of those positions. And we picked up another setter in the spring, a transfer from Oklahoma Baptist. Very good setter. And so I think that she and Kaya sharpen each other on the daily basis. And the blessing in that is that they are very good friends. And so they get along well, but they understand this is competition and they're there to win. And so they do a good job together. But we're going to be looking probably to a freshman to fill that other outside position where Riley Tinder graduated. We brought on a host of defenders, and they are battling out daily. It's really fun to watch. But, yeah, you're going to see some freshmen getting some playing time this year.
And you mentioned the setters, and that is, I mean, obviously such a vital position, and good to have that competition, and just raises the bar for everybody.
It does. And, we struggled with that last year because our backup got injured on our home opener, and so we didn't have that last year. We were lucky that we had Kirsten Evans, who had set in high school, and so we pulled her out and said, draw from your experience and help us get this done, and she was great. But yeah, it goes a long way, to have some depth. You need a sub at every position and somebody who can jump in and be ready to go. And I think we certainly have that now.
With 9 newcomers, how maybe tell us a little bit about them, what has stood out, and how they all blended into your system and with the returners and everything.
Yeah, well, I think with any freshman, they're about one day they look amazing, and the next day you're like, what are you doing? Typical freshman, one day on, one day off for about the first month. But they are hard workers. They're all very hard workers. We've got 2 outside hitters who've come in, Miley Brown out of Beloit, and then Grace Schmetting out of Olathe, and they have come on really strong. The girls really respect their work ethic, are really impressed at the level of play they've come in with. And then, we've got 4 defenders there, and they've been rotating between all the defensive positions and just battling it out there. And I think that we're seeing a lot of scrappier game on that. And what I will say about the freshmen is they have earned the respect of the upperclassmen. The upperclassmen have told me more than once that they are very pleased with this class and they're excited to play with them. And then we have, on the right side, we picked up a little big gal. She's about 6'2", out of Salina, who will be training on the right side. She was a middle in high school, but she's a very strong blocker. And she had a really good test in our scrimmages. She did some really, really nice things. And then we picked up Little Cormany out of Colorado Springs in the middle. And she's been coming on strong herself, to nobody's surprise.
And that's got to be, gratifying, because obviously you're looking for the best talent you can get, but it's a personality, all of that. It's not just talent on the court, what kind of teammate you're going to be, how will you mix in with our culture and all that. And to hear that from your veterans about these young players, it's got to be gratifying for you that you're on the right track, but you're getting the right kid to mix in with the team that you have already.
Yeah, it is. We've got a standard, and sometimes those freshmen come in and they have to learn it. This group of freshmen came in and already understood it. And so that just means that the progress that we make is coming a little bit faster because we don't have to get them up to speed when it comes to standards or how we do things or work ethic. Because everybody that steps on the court or the field anywhere, they think they're working their hardest. Some kids don't know they have another level to give, and these girls have come in ready.
All right, let's take the MIAA, and we've talked about it in every sport. It's a juggernaut, and volleyball's as challenging as any sport there is. You're picked near the bottom, but I imagine that's a challenge for your squad. Just how do you see the conference? Because it seemed like you look last year. You're in a lot of matches that could have gone either way, and for whatever reason didn't. If you can start winning a few of those, that changes everything.
Right, and that just comes down to the details. It's just like basketball where, half of the teams are in the top 20, and that's just your regular competition. And so, but we also beat some of those top 20 teams last year. And so looking ahead, I'll say there's nothing wrong with flying under the radar, but we are ready. We are looking, Kearney last year, they had 5 seniors, and 4 of them were starters. And so they lost 4 of their starters. UCM, who we beat, we split with them, they graduated 7.
Wow.
And so and a couple of those were 6-year COVID seniors. And so they lost a lot of strength. Washburn lost a couple. The only team that didn't lose any starters was Central Oklahoma. And so we're going to see Central Oklahoma should be still strong and steady, but the other ones they're going to have some bumps that they hit in the road, and they're certainly going to have some holes, some areas to attack where those seniors had already had that down. So we've been studying them, and then Emporia picked up a couple. They're pretty much a brand new team. They only returned 2 players from last year. And so we don't know what to expect from them, but they picked up the assistant coach from Kansas State. And so we've been studying that program a little bit and seeing what tendencies they have. And, other than that, you got to wait and see.
Yeah. All right, it starts September 6th, a Friday. You'll go out to Colorado Springs, UCCS Mountain Lion Classic, University of Mary, UCCS, and Cameron, your 3 opponents there. Always a good test right out of the gate. You got 1 more week, and then it's all for real.
Yeah.
Tell us about the schedule a little bit. What stands out for you?
Well, we're typically we would play 4 matches each weekend. We're on a 3-match schedule because every place that we looked had a conference opponent.
Okay.
So we will get the opportunity to scout while we're there. So Arkansas Fort Smith will be in Colorado Springs. We've played Mary and Cameron before, and we kind of know their style of play. UCCS is an unknown to us. But I think it's going to be really good because we're relying on some freshmen to start off. There's going to be some freshman nerves. And so I wanted to see some opponents that we're familiar with going out the gate. And then coming home, that's a pretty good pairing for what we've got going on and getting comfortable in our own gym. But that's the only time we're home in September. Is that tournament right there. But Emporia will be coming to that. Okay. So we'll have a chance to watch Emporia here in our own gym. And then when we go to Missouri, to Southwest, that was, we've played some of those teams before. We played Southwest and Wichita both in the last 2 years. But they'll also have Missouri Southern at that tournament. And so in ways we're preparing ourselves, and because we're relying on freshmen, we're going to get some good competition in there and get them ready. But we'll also have the opportunity to see 3 of our opponents and scout them pretty early on.
Oh, that'd be nice. You go to Bolivar, all 3 of your opponents' primary color is purple. Don't know if you knew that. Truman, Ouachita, SBU. Just one
Yeah.
of those little, there you go.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. All right, we're looking forward to as well. We did have one question. I don't know if you know the answer yet. When you go out to Colorado, and I believe the answer is going to be the RMAC network to watch the video stream. Have you heard anything about that? I'm assuming that's where it will be because it's at a Rocky Mount Athletic Conference school.
I think that's a good assumption.
Very
I'll
good.
find out for sure.
Very good. We had someone asking about that, so we will find out, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to watch it that way. Appreciate it, Coach. Looking forward to the season. Looking forward to seeing all this new talent infused with what you have. Should be a fun year. And we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
There you go. Jessica Wood-Atkins, Fort Hays State volleyball coach. Tiger Talk today presented by BTI, your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Football coach Chris Brown is next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PWC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayspost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, real country. 99 KZ Country.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. We're live at the Robins Center, part of Tiger Club. First program of the year. Certainly glad to have you with us. Hey, you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website at fhsuathletics.com. Click on Shop. You'll find hundreds of products and designs. Every item is customizable. So go to fhsuathletics.com, click on Shop, and then open up the Tiger Team Store, and you'll be ready to go on game day. Starts tomorrow night. Tigers and the Angelo State Rams in the football season opener. We're joined by head coach Chris Brown, and ready to go. It's almost here. One more day.
I think we're ready. We had a really good camp. They had a really good summer as well, and that's the key to having success is having the right people here at the right time and doing the work that they needed to get done. And our players did that, and I'm very proud of them for that. But camp was good. This week of practice has been good so far, and hopefully that work pays off for us tomorrow night.
Well, one thing that jumps out, it's a veteran group. You probably returned as many starters from the previous season as maybe you ever have in your coaching career. Did that veteran leadership, I'm guessing one of the reasons you had a good camp, just all those veterans out there kind of leading the way.
Yeah, it was really good. Just the culture they brought, and teaching the young guys, how we do things, here at Fort Hays State football. And, they did well with it, and they handle things well. They're easy to coach. They're smart. We can throw anything at them. They're going to pick it up pretty quick. So, having those veterans like that, it makes our life easy as coaches. But, they also helped us coach the young kids up and get them ready to play if they needed to play. But they caught those young guys up that were like freshmen or sophomores last year to kind of get up to playing speed. So now we have some really good depth as well.
Now, one of those guys is in the audience here, Miles Menges. He's been with the program quite a bit. We've had a chance to talk with him and just talked about a camp. And we heard that from a lot of the players about how it was something different this year. Could you feel that? Because there's an excitement level among the team that maybe you haven't seen in a while.
Just the energy, the excitement, the closeness that this team has right now. There is a really, really good bond. Just between defensive players and other defensive players, but across the entire team, offense and defense together, special teams as well. And they're just a good group of kids. They care about one another. They love one another. They work their tails off every day for each other. And that's all you can ask for. When you get a group like that, usually good things happen.
And that's not always the case. And football maybe more than any other sport because you have an offense, you have a defense, and very rarely does someone play on both sides. And you have special teams, and they practice a lot together. Yeah, they go against each other, but it's almost like three teams on one, and sometimes you see that division if maybe one side's not doing as well as the other. And when you can get that total team unity and they're supporting one another, that makes all the difference in the world, and that's not always the case.
Yeah, it was awesome. This camp was tremendous. Yes, there's a lot of competition across the board. Just not against players, fighting for starting spots, but, offense going against defense and really getting after one another because sometimes they do brother-in-law each other and trying to take it easy on each other. But this group didn't do that. They got after each other and made each other better every single day. And, I mean, just the energy and the excitement, and you can just tell that they love being out there every single day. When you got guys that love being at practice because it's a true grind, especially and loving camp too and doing all the things that we do through camp, I mean, special things usually happen.
I want to ask you about the depth because it seems to me, just from the practices I've watched, you maybe have as much at every position that I can ever remember.
It's nice to have, and it really is being able to rotate guys in, you know, when they get tired. And so you'll see a lot of guys play tomorrow, just rotating them in, keeping guys healthy, and whoever's playing best in the fourth quarter is the guy you're going to see on the football field. So, you know, I'm excited about this group with the depth that we have, and, you know, good things can happen for us with depth because of the rest they can have and be able to play at full speed constantly for 80 plays. That depth helps. So hope it pans out for us.
Well, and you know, we talked about Miles. I mean, he's one of those COVID players who got an extra year. You've got some guys who've been in the program a long time. They've got a lot of miles on them, so to speak. Do you have to worry about load management and how you handle that? And obviously the depth plays into that to being able to maybe give them a break here or there that, even though it happens in September, early October, could have huge impact in November.
Yeah, I think the load management is something important that really just goes to like practices and how we practice, how we lift and different things like that. But when it comes to game day, those kids don't think about those things. They don't get tired. They just play hard, and they want to be on the football field, and they want to play every single play. So it's really us as coaches pulling them out because we know they don't want to come out, but we want to make sure that they're rested and they're healthy and they're ready to go for the next series. So, you know, that depth helps with that rotation, and I think it'll pan out for us well. But I know guys like Miles, he will not want to come off the field. So, but we have a bunch of guys like that, and it's good to have guys like that don't want to come off the field.
We did have a few questions this week. In fact, one of them is to me, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I was going to ask it. I think you get asked it every year. Who's going to be your starting quarterback? You were kind of mum on that at the weekly press conference on Monday. It was quite a battle. Jack's obviously the incumbent. We're in an election year. He's the incumbent at quarterback. But you got Caleb Heavner right behind him. Got in a little bit of time last year. He seemed to have improved his game quite a bit. It seems like regardless who's going to go out there to start the game, that position has improved from last season.
It really has. I mean, we got, you know, some pretty good depth at that position with Jack and Heavner and, you know, a few others that are, you know, Specs Arthur's really changed his game going from just a strictly running quarterback to now he can throw the ball pretty well and get himself some good positions. And so we got some really, really good depth there. And, I mean, Jack or Heavner, whoever we go with, we're not going to let you know right now.
So you're not going to tell me. Okay.
If you want to find out, come to the game tomorrow night, and you'll find out. But no, it's been a good battle, and it's been a great competition. And either one of those kids can step in there and play for us and get things done. So but we'll keep it a surprise until tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
All right, we'll all find out together when the game starts. We got a few more questions to get to. We'll do that after the break, and we'll take a preview look at a new opponent. First time ever Fort Hays State and Angelo State will play in football. We'll preview the season opener tomorrow night at 7 when we come back. Need to remind you that Tiger Talk is brought to you by the HaysMed Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Let the experts at HaysMed Orthopedic help you move freely. To learn more, visit haysmed.com/orthopedics. More with head coach Chris Brown when we return. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC. Welcome back to the Robins Center. It's Tiger Club here on this Wednesday, and it's brought to you by the Taco Shop. Order by phone, use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery just east of the Fort Hays State campus on 8th Street. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. And Tiger Athletics, proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition and encourage you to join Kansas fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. We're talking football with head coach Chris Brown. Tigers open up the new campaign tomorrow night at 7. It's Angelo State. Did have a couple of other questions to get to. One was for me. Which coach do you like best? No, that wasn't a question.
We know the answer.
We
on
know
that
the
one.
answer. Well, Coach Johnson, how do you not
I
like
know.
Mark? There's actually which sport or do I prefer, or is there a sport you like or more comfortable with? And again, since Coach Brown is here, it's got to be football.
Yep.
But it's usually whatever is in season. I like them all. Volleyball is really fast. You gotta be on your game. So each one is unique, and I love them all. So it's hard to answer that question. It's kind of like your kids. Which kid do you like better?
Right.
Now, there might be one you do like a little bit better, but they're all great. I like the one we're winning the most in. It's more fun. And I've always sounded better when the Tigers win, I've been told. All right, the other question for you. Biggest hurdles facing your team in winning the MIAA this year?
I think it's just us and taking care of ourselves. I think that's the main thing of making sure we're doing things properly, week in and week out, whether it's practice, whether it's the weight room, classroom, study hall, whatever it might be, is, making sure that we do things the right way every single day. So I think that's the biggest hurdle, just trying to keep, them on track, hopefully get some wins. But when we do start winning, we got to stay humble and stay hungry through it as well. So that's probably the biggest hurdle. I think we've got a great opportunity to do it, but we just got to be, take 1 week at a time and just play hard, great effort, play physical. More physical than we have in years past. Take care of the ball offensively, get some turnovers defensively as well, and win the special teams battle. If we can do those things, you got a great opportunity to win every single game. So that's it. I think the biggest hurdle is ourselves. We just got to stay out of our own way and just play the way we can play, and then play physical like I know we can. And then there's a lot of talent on this team, and it's just them, staying humble and hungry and going out and playing well.
You mentioned turnovers, and you look the years you won back-to-back conference titles and were in the hunt for a third. It came down to the last game. You were near the top of the conference and the country in turnover margin. And you look the last 3 or 4, you've been right around 0, maybe plus 1 or 2, but it hasn't been. To me, that seems like a gigantic stat. If you can get closer to where you were, obviously that lends itself well in winning those games.
It is, and defensively, it's just it's the more physical you play, the more turnovers you usually create, and we got to get some pressure on the quarterback and make him make some errant throws, and hopefully we go pick him off in the secondary. But it's also trying to strip the running back and strip the ball carriers as they're running downfield, not just trying to make the tackle all the time as well. And then offensively, we just got to take care of the ball. Ball carriers just got to really secure it, and our quarterback's got to make smart decisions. If it's not there, don't force it and throw it out of bounds. So those are things we've all worked on through this whole entire camp, and hopefully we're in the plus margin, turnovers-wise defensively, and none on offense. So that's the goal.
All right, let's talk about tomorrow's opponent, Angelo State, Lone Star Conference. They were in the national quarterfinals back-to-back years. Didn't make the playoffs last year, but went 7-3. They were close. Good program. Kind of like you, they got a lot of good players coming back. They had the number 1 pass defense, number 8 overall defense in the country. You guys are good on defense. This looks to be a great matchup with kind of a heavyweight fight right out of the gate.
Yeah, they're a good football team. There's a reason they're ranked number 24 in the country right now, and it's a good challenge for our kids as well to kind of just see where we're at, as a team. And they do have some tremendous athletes. They got speed on both sides of the ball. They're pretty big up front on both sides of the ball as well, and they do some stuff defensively that kind of gives an offense trouble with multiple looks. 3-man front, 5-man front, 4-man front with some different coverages as well. Played a lot of man coverage last year, against most of their opponents. So hopefully we can get some of that, and our guys can go and beat them. So, and then offensively, just different things. There's a lot of shifts and motions and unbalanced sets and things like that we have to be prepared for, and be able to stop the run. If we can we can stop the run and not give up the deep ball defensively, I think we'll be fine.
Should be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are excited. I know you're excited. I especially know your players are excited. They're tired of banging against each other and ready to go after an opponent. But it'll be fun to have someone else in town, a non-conference opponent, and fun to get the season underway. Coach, as always, appreciate your time and can't wait till tomorrow night.
Thanks, Gerard. I'm excited.
There you go. Head coach Chris Brown of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Fort Hays State, Angelo State tomorrow night, 7 o'clock kick at Lewis Field. And you can hear it on the radio, Tiger Radio Mix 103.3, and the Tiger Sports Network will be on the air at 6 o'clock with the Auto World pregame show. Obviously, if you can't make it out, you can't listen, you can always watch it on the MIAA Network. It's going to wrap it up for today. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back here next Wednesday at 12:15 for another edition of Tiger Talk. And keep that in mind if you're listening today on Mix 103.3, next Wednesday back on KAYS. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday, and that's it for Tiger Talk.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.